Well, it's happening with Amazing Spider-Man finally. I was wondering how long it was going to take after the Zeb Wells era, but I think they wanted some filler first because I exposed the other day who they hired to write this recent Amazing Spider-Man arc. It's a filler arc by Justina Ireland, a race grifter who is one of the worst woke people in comics. And I think they didn't want to give her that number one because they weren't intending on giving her the full series. So they gave her a mini-series basically at the end of it so they could stall, buy some time, so they could reboot Spider-Man with an all-new number one again. So they're going to this well, and DC and Marvel are going to this well with increasing frequency at this point, guys, because they know that these stories are not enough to captivate people. They know that they've just screwed up the character of Spider-Man so much. They have no direction other than trying this over and over and over again because they can artificially increase sales by putting a zillion variant covers, making incentives for retailers so they can go, oh, look, Spider-Man sold 400,000 copies. We're a success. Just like they did with Absolute Batman, even though people are not reading it in anywhere near those levels. Just like they did with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this year, just like they did with X-Men this year. It is tired. How many times do you think they can go to this well over and over again? Let's analyze what they're doing with Amazing Spider-Man again in just a moment. Smash that like and subscribe button as we talk about all things in comics here, guys. And I think the comic industry is in huge trouble, but that's why we're doing our own thing. And of course, not just complaining about things, but making our own books ourselves, making our own canon and lore ourselves. This is the Emerald Array. It's a Space Marine graphic novel. If you like Star Wars, Warhammer 40K, we are providing action and excitement like they used to do in Marvel Comics with an actual story with real continuity, because I'm writing it all. So, of course, I build the world out, and the characters actually develop and change, and they don't just revert back. And definitely the lead character here, Lieutenant Lansing, will not be making a deal with the devil to get rid of his wife. He's not married yet, but maybe soon. If you've read the direction of some of the stories so far, you'll see how it goes. Now, this is the first Space Marine graphic novel. They are dovetailing out of my Hidden Emperor graphic novel. And of course, we are building out this universe like a Star Wars universe. I've got like 4 different books planned, a full line of science fiction and fun for you guys. This is a great spot to get in, though, as the Space Marine full male team, high T action against their space bug monsters, demonic from outer space, who are trying to kill all the humans. Grab this, guys. It's on Fund My Comics. It's a 66-page graphic novel. We are done with the line art, and we are almost done with the colors. So this is going to be coming out very, very soon. You won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for supporting our channel and supporting what we're doing here in independent comics. You guys are amazing. Appreciate the readers for making this a success so far. So here we are. Marvel kicks off a new era. Oh, joy. With an all-new Amazing Spider-Man number 1. Please clap, everybody. Please clap for an Amazing Spider-Man number 1 again. So Joe Kelly is writing it, and John Romita Jr., it looks like, is going to be the one. Joe Kelly's not a bad writer. I don't think that's a bad thing, having him involved, but it's not, like, exciting either. I mean, it's been a while since I've really read a Joe Kelly book. I've been like, wow. But he is now taking over Spider-Man. I guess it's, I will say, it's better than Zeb Wells. I'm glad they finally got rid of him. I don't know why that took that long. Better than Justina Ireland, who's writing it currently, which you can just skip that whole Deaths of Spider-Man nonsense that they're doing. It's just a disaster. I don't even know why they're making that. But here it is. New Amazing Spider-Man will deliver classic Spidey storytelling with bold new horizons. His supporting cast recently redeemed Norman Osborn and Peter's new girlfriend, Shay. Wow. So they're giving you not what you want again. Now, until they get rid of Nick Lowe as the editorial, and he's gotten himself into trouble this last year at New York Comic Con. People have been asking for the Mary Jane relationship to be back. They hated the Paul situation where she's with this guy who looks like Matt Walsh and cucking Spider-Man at every single turn. Peter, they don't want with this person, Shay. They've really set this up to a disaster, and they have to stop doing this kind of things. Fans don't want this. You should have learned at this point. You've had a whole year plus that Jonathan Hickman has the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, which, by the way, I don't even think that's that good of a story. Don't cancel me over that. I've read it. I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's interesting. But what it did to captivate everybody was it made Peter Parker married to Mary Jane. That's all fans wanted, and you could see that when you deliver that with a writer with a name, it doesn't matter how good the story is. It doesn't matter how slowly it unfolds or how boring it is. I think it's been 10 plus issues before Peter Parker even got into a real superhero fight. My gosh, what are you doing with a superhero comic? But that's what fans want. It's that simple. They don't want Shay. They don't want Carly Cooper. Do you guys remember Carly Cooper? If you've been around for that long, guys, leave a comment in the description below. They don't want any of that stuff. They want Peter Parker with Mary Jane, and this is just ridiculous again. So here it is. Even though it's an all-new number one, I don't think it's a restart per se. Well, it should be, because if it's not, what's the point? This direction's been horrible over the last several years. You really need to abandon everything that's come before and start fresh at this point. This is disaster. I'm writing the next chapter of the story of one of the world's greatest characters, lucky enough to follow in the footsteps of the folks before me. After that sinks in, I spend a lot of time thinking about what I love about Spider-Man and his cast, what stories resonated with me, and I feel a drive or take bold, unexpected swings in order to see how Spider-Man deals with Marvel-sized curveballs. Pressure makes diamonds. Okay, so I always hear this. They got to put Peter Parker through hell in order to make him come out the other side. How many times have we seen that before? You don't really need that out of superheroes. I don't think that's what makes good superhero storytelling. I think that's edgy 90s and 2000s storytelling. I like Joe Kelly in general. Like I said, I think he's a step up definitely from what we've got going on. But this sounds like more run-of-the-mill nonsense. And the real problem, I really think, is that Marvel tightly controls Spider-Man with editorial to where, even if you have Joe Kelly, trying to really do honor to Spider-Man and really doing it right, he's going to just get nixed, and it's just going to be what editorial demands. Nick Lowe is the problem. That guy's shown he does not respect fans, does not like fans, does not want anything to go the way that fans want it, and he's just dragging his feet in a way that's going to kill Spider-Man already. But the real thing here is it doesn't matter. This is just another all-new number one. I don't know, how many times are people going to fall for this stupid thing? I don't even want to see the sales boost for this. I want to see a sales decline, because at this juncture, doing this is just a cynical marketing tactic that's so stupid, and it just tells the audience, you're pay pigs. You're going to buy 18 different variant covers because it says number one on it, and even though it's not a new restart, even though we're continuing what's coming before, we are not going to change anything. I mean, John Romita Jr. was the artist of the last run too, so it's going to keep going with the same art style, which, by the way, John Romita Jr. hasn't really been his best in recent years. He's definitely even phoning this stuff in. The art's been terrible on Spider-Man along with that. I don't know why they wouldn't go with the filler, Ed McGuinness stuff that they were doing, because his art actually looked good. It really was fresh. I would like to see more of that and less John Romita, but that's an aside. This whole deal of the number one reboots actually kills comic readers, because what happens is all the speculators come in, people go, oh gosh, I bought 10 copies of this, what am I going to do with it now? And it gets them bitter about the comic industry, and eventually they just drop off. And you see, but by issues 5, 6, or 7, that every single time they do this, that even if they do get an all-new number one that sells record numbers for a bit, what it does is, because it's all speculators buying it, that the readers have dropped off in greater numbers every single time they do one of these reboots. And they just got to stop doing it. Because you know what's going to happen again, in a year or whatever, they're going to do Amazing Spider-Man number 1000, and they're going to renumber it, and you're going to be like, how did they get from number 73 to 1000? Because they do the whole legacy numbering crap, so they can make these, quote, milestone issues. It's all just pointless marketing garbage at this juncture, and they don't actually have a direction for Spider-Man. They're not actually working on developing the character. They're not giving fans what they want out of the character, and they have no idea how to write a heroic story anymore. It's driving me crazy. So Marvel, freaking call me if you want some good storytelling at some point. I know you won't, because you blacklist conservatives. You're all about your woke agenda over there. Marvel's been circling the drain worse than I've seen ever in its history before. And gosh, you can tell I'm a big Spider-Man fan from way back. The One More Day thing just gutted me when they did that to the Spider-Man marriage, and I think that did it for a lot of people. Until they just get their heads out of their own asses, undo that, and just fix Spider-Man, they're going nowhere, and this is just another disaster in the making. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for being there and supporting. And please read independent comics with real storytelling. If you like classic Marvel from 70s and 80s, this is going to be your jam. We have the real storytelling right here. Check it out. The Emerald Array is going to be an awesome book, and it's, like I said, the art's already done. We're getting there. We're getting ready for production. Appreciate you for being there and supporting indie comics. And in the description below, back it today.